Aut barbaris concilium non defuit. Well, that's pretty short. Let's see. But we have this long is here. That's dative. We have a subject, nominative. Notice concilium is a neuter noun. That's why it looks nominative or accusative. And then we have defuit, which of course has the root of fuit. And that's important because fuit is from the verb sum esse fui. So what you have here is you have a nominative, a form of the verb of being, and you have a dative, which is usually the formula for a dative of possession. So you could say the barbarians were not lacking a plan, or the literal translation is, but the plan was not lacking from the barbarians. Either way works. Nam duces eorum tota acie pronuntiari userent, ne quis ab loco discederet. Illorum esse praedam, atque illis reservari quae cumque Romani relinquissent. Proinde omnia in victoria posita existimarent. Okay, let's see. First, we need to start looking for some chunks. When I look for a chunk, I'm always going in order, seeing how things fit together. Nom, boring connector. Duces, nominative or accusative, probably the subject though. Eorum, genitive, talking about the duces, so that goes like that. Tota acie, oh, I see a noun adjective pair here. And it's ablative, because acie is ablative. So we've got a subject, their leaders, i.e. the leaders of the barbarians over here. We don't know the rest, but we see the ablative in the entire line. Pronuntiare, infinitive. Why is that infinitive? We will keep going to see if we can figure out. Userent. Oh, we saw this before. Caesar likes to do this. Whenever the leaders are telling their soldiers to do something, the leaders always order the messengers or announcer people to announce. So, the leaders of them ordered them, i.e. whoever does the announcing, to announce in the entire line. They ordered them to announce, so pronuntiare goes with userent. And before we find out what they're announcing, we'll keep going. Ne quis. Ne, clause marker, ding ding. That should be telling you, hey, we've got some sort of negative subjunctive thing going. Ne quis ab loco discederet. So ne is the beginning of that clause, and discederet, of course, is our subjunctive verb that ends this ne clause. So what kind of a clause is this? Well, if it's an ordering, then it's probably an indirect command, which makes sense because you're telling people to tell soldiers things, and usually generals command them. So ne, and we're commanding people not to do something. To order lest, quis, there's your subject. Then we here have a prepositional phrase, ab loco. Lest anyone leave from his spot. So apparently they told everybody to stay there. For the leaders of them, ordered them to announce in the entire line, lest anyone should leave from their spot, or they ordered them to pronounce that no one should leave from the spot. You can do that in a clause either way. And then, let's see, illorum esse. Hey, why is esse infinitive? Is it historical? Is it complementary? Or are we in indirect statement? Not sure yet. We're going to keep going. Illorum esse praedam. I see an accusative. I see a genitive. And if we keep going, is there a main verb that would lead us to think that there should be an infinitive? Well, reliquescent is not a verb that takes a complementary infinitive. I don't get the feeling that we're rushing around for any particular reason, and we do have random, another infinitive over here, plus an accusative. I think we might really be in indirect statement. Well, how can we tell? Well, we're talking about what the leaders said to the barbaric soldiers, so it would make sense to assume that we are in indirect statement. So the subject of esse is the accusative praedam, because in indirect statement, you need an accusative subject for an infinitive verb. So the plunder, they're announcing, the bad guys are announcing that the plunder is theirs, i.e. the plunder, whatever plunder that they should happen to acquire from killing off the Romans is of them, is theirs, belonging to the barbarians. So they're saying, look, the plunder is theirs. And we have another infinitive This is a passive infinitive. So something is reserved for them. Again, illorum and illis probably both refer to the barbarians. Something is reserved for the barbarians. What is reserved? Quae comque Romani reliquiscent. Whatever the Romans leave behind. Oh, okay. So they're trying to motivate the troops. So let's see. So they announce that the plunder is theirs and whatever the Romans leave behind, notice quae comque is accusative, Romani is nominative, Romans leave behind whatever. Whatever the Romans leave behind is reserved, passive infinitive, for them, for the Gauls. And then Caesar gives us this other thing. See, proenda, adverb, omnia, either nominative or accusative plural, but again, we're not expecting all things to be the subject, so I'm assuming it's accusative until we get more information. Then we get this prepositional phrase in Victoria, in victory. Now, what are we going to do with this word posita? Is posita ablative to go with victory, or is it neuter to go with omnia? Because this text doesn't have long marks, and that A is ambiguous. Let's see. Then we're going to have to keep going to resolve this, to see if our prepositional phrase ends here or here. We just don't know yet. Let's see. They think, they estimate. So, do they estimate that all things are placed in victory, or do they estimate that all things are in victory having been placed? Well, that second one doesn't really sound right, so I'm going to assume it's like this. So, the leaders of the barbarians declare that all the Roman stuff goes to the soldiers. You can go look up proende, boring adverb. They estimate, they think that all things are placed. This is really posita esse, because this is itself an indirect statement dependent upon existimarent, right? Because existimarent is a knowing verb. So they estimate that all things are placed in victory. So this is posita esse, because that is the form of the passive infinitive, posita esse. All things have been placed in victory. Erant et virtute et studio pugnande pares. Nostri tam ipsi ab duce et a fortuna deserebantur, tamen omnem spem salutis in virtute ponebat. Et quotiens quaeque cohors procurerat, ab ea parte magnus numerus hostium cadebat. Okay, in your efforts to chunk this out, you should notice right away, et. That's a clue that you've got two things that are similar being compared, or joined together at least. Et virtute, et studio, because remember, et means both and. There's your main verb. They were both, and then we have this ablative, which you can figure out, and this ablative. So in terms of these two ablatives, they were pugnande pares. Pugnandi, for now, since we haven't learned this officially yet, you should just know that this is a gerund, not gerundive, and it is translated of fighting. So they were equals of fighting, both on account of this and this. So the subject here has changed. It's not just the barbarians anymore, but it's the barbarians and the Roman soldiers. So apparently Caesar's saying that this was a really close battle. How could that be? I thought the Romans were highly outnumbered and in a bad spot. Well, Caesar is going to explain why. Nostri, remember, Caesar never bothers to say our soldiers or the Romans. He's just like, ours, our guys. And it's looking pretty nominative to me, our guys. And then, look, we've got the nice commas to point out a dependent clause starting with even if tam etsi. So your clause is going to start here and here. Ab duce et a fortuna. Hopefully, being a great student at chunking, you notice that we have et connecting two prepositional phrases. And these are and abs, and these are ablatives going with the passive verb. So we're getting the Romans, our guys, were being verbed by these two things, by this and this. You can go look that up if you don't know the words, but they aren't that hard. Okay, so we're still waiting for the main sentence. He gave us this dependent clause We'll keep going. Our guys, however, oh, now we get omnem spem, which looks awfully accusative, most likely the direct object showing what our guys were doing. So our guys were doing something to omnem spem. Oh, omnem spem of salutis, because you always have hope, all hope. Salutis is a genitive going with spem. So our guys, however, were doing something to all hope of safety. What were they doing? In virtute ponebant. Wow, prepositional phrases all over the place. And here's the main verb. Our guys, and before you even get to the verb, based on context and what's been going on, you can probably anticipate what ponebant means. If we've just had this contrast where we're expecting Caesar to say our guys are getting their butts kicked, but instead he's like, no, the battle is equal. They're all doing really well together. It's a closely fought battle. We're not expecting our guys to throw all hope of safety away in virtue. What are we expecting them to do? Ponebant. It makes sense. You don't even need that word. You should just understand from following Caesar's logic. And we'll keep going. And quotients. Okay, new clause coming. Quotients is a clause marker. It starts there. We'll see where it ends, probably over here. Quae quoque cohors. Quae goes with cohors. It's acting as a demonstrative pronoun there. Whichever cohort, whenever any cohort rushed forth, had run forth, ab ea parte magnus numerus hostium cadebat. Wow, another prepositional phrase. From this place, then we have a subject over here. Well, magnus is nominative, but that tells me we're probably got a noun coming with it. Oh, there it is, a great number. A great number. Wherever any cohort went, from this location, a great number, hostium genitive, talking about a great number of what? Not zombies, but rather enemies. A great number of enemies. What are we expecting now? Cadebat. If we're talking about how brave our guys are, every time some of them ran to a certain place and did something, what would the enemy do? Cadebat. That would be to fall down, probably dead.